I got started after a bad breakup because I wanted to do something that was, it's totally true. I wanted to do something that was totally my own.
Was it a direct result of your breakup or a semi-direct result? I always read stories about how like the great rock climbers of the past go out and they free solo when after they break up. And they just go and climb things that they have no business climbing on ropes. The classic story, of course, is John Jablonski, who was a Yosemite climber in the early 80s, who after he broke up with a girl, went out and free soloed a really famous crack. I forget what route it is. It's this overhanging crack in the valley. Fell off about 60 feet up and got caught by a tree. So he survived. Without, I guess, walked away unscathed from that incident. So there's a little bit of a climbing mystique and breakup mystique going on there too.
Basically, this is the first World Cup in 22 years and the first bouldering World Cup we've had in America. And I'm one of the 4 route setters.
How big of a deal is it? In like reference to what? Like curing world hunger, like world peace. I mean, maybe it's not that big of a deal, but for bouldering and for climbing in general, it's huge. Huge. I mean, we had a World Cup in 1988, and now 20 years later, we're finally back on American soil. So we have about 100 climbers from about 25 different countries competing over the weekend to see who's going to be the best boulder in the world.
Yeah, I prefer boulder because it's much more powerful. They're short walls, and it's cool.
I like this style. It's a pleasure for me to climb powerful with no foot, just in the biceps.
So the way this works is that the climbers are in isolation. They can't see the other climbers attempting the holds. So once one climber goes, then she goes on to the next problem, and so the next person comes in and is attempting that problem sight unseen as well. My guess is going to be Chris Sharma for the men.
Everybody could win. We are like 20 people that could win because we are strong.
It definitely draws like an interesting group of people too. I think climbing's very analytical. I think it's very problem solving.
It's extremely technical. Yeah, you maybe wouldn't even be able to pull up off the first hold. Yeah, maybe your arms would just explode off of your body if you even tried.
You meet people who say, you know, climbing is definitely my zen. It's my meditation.
There it is, 6 minutes on, 6 minutes on.
It's kind of interesting because you reach that point where you have to decide, you know, am I going to force myself through this even though it's uncomfortable and challenging, or am I just going to stop?
I don't think that climbers necessarily start climbing after a bad breakup, but they definitely climb harder and more dangerously after a bad breakup. Oh, cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to have a focus though. I mean, the more emotion, the more power that you have, of course it's gonna make you push up that wall even harder. You're gonna be like, dude, that guy was such an asshole, you know, so I'm just gonna whip this rock to, you know, do what I want it to do.
Yeah, you have a little more time maybe? I don't know, maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
I think sometimes when they have less distractions and maybe a little anger, they'll get after it a little more, so that can definitely be true.
What about you? No, I'm okay right now.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I would say the biggest surprise immediately comes to Chris Sharma not making it into the finals.
No, I think we'd heard of some of these European competitors and we knew they were good, and I don't think we knew how good they were, and so we wanted to kind of test them out a little bit and see what they could do.
Yes, I'm happy to be in the final, and for me, when you are in the final, it's a bonus, and I can be 3, but I'm 4, I'm okay, I'm very happy.
Well, the men's final route, the last one was probably hard V11 or V12, which is a pretty hard level, and it got flashed, which means it got done first try, which is really impressive, very impressive.
And the last one was my style on pockets, so I believe it, and I did it. It was great.
One of the greatest intensities is having to perform in front of thousands of people. You know, it's a big difference between climbing at a gym with your coach and your teammates and then coming to a foreign country and having to perform in thousands of strangers with some MC like myself shouting out things, you know, and screaming. You have to really compartmentalize. You have to be able to have this really kind of laser beam focus. That is an intense part of it. As well as, it's really difficult. These competitors are the best climbers in the world. If you got Joe Average Climber out there, he wouldn't be able to touch these things. Which is a funny thing because from the perspective of the audience, these people make it look easy to a certain degree. So like, well, that doesn't look so hard. I think I'll go up there and try them their problems. But that guy or girl could not even get off the ground.
Nice job, Gabri.